Good afternoon and welcome back to Leadership 100, Introduction to Leadership. Glad to see you're all here. Today we'll talk about management versus leadership and what are the differences between the two. So if you recall from reading your syllabus, and I assume all of you have read your syllabus, that Module 1's learning goal is to define and explain the importance of leadership. There are 4 learning outcomes in this module. The first one, which we went through last week, is to evaluate the importance of leadership. Number 2, which we'll talk about today, as I said earlier, is to differentiate management versus leadership. 3 is analyze how leadership affects organizations. And 4 is to discuss traits and behaviors of successful leaders. I think these 4 topics will allow us to clearly define leadership and how important it is. So let's go through this graphic real quick. By Jacob Morgan. It talks about some of the differences between leadership and management. So on the left, you see a manager. Believes in the status quo. As long as everything is going fine, we're good. Focuses on efficiency. When I think of a manager, I like to think about, maybe just a factory producing widgets, and the efficiency is just everybody doing what they need to do to make more widgets. A manager delegates. He's going to create hierarchies in the organization. So he's on top, he delegates to the next level, and so on. Now, it doesn't mean that the manager is giving up responsibility for the things that happen under his watch, but he will delegate to other people. And that's how he leads. He leads with authority. When you create those hierarchies, that's how a manager gains his authority. They may develop processes, again, to just try to focus on efficiency. They'll attempt to improve weaknesses. There's somebody who knows everything about their organization and how their process is done. And they just tend to have kind of a fixed mindset that if it's not broke, don't fix it. So let's go over here to the right side where we start talking about leadership. That's somebody who believes in experimentation, maybe trying different things, doing it a different way, has a growth mindset. We always want to get bigger, better. And they lead with influence. They don't need to say, hey, I'm your boss, you do this. They tend to just influence people and get them to want to be better and do things. They develop their people by coaching them. A leader learns everything he can about the organization. Sometimes leaders come in and they are not experts on what's going on in the organization, but they quickly learn so that they can be. And then they focus on empowerment. So let's see what we have next. Next, we have just a little video that I think you'll like. It'll help sort of cement in some of the definitions that we've talked about.
connected using button.
Okay, so hopefully watching the video there, it helped to reinforce some of the things we talked about in the chart. I think my favorite part, favorite at least quote from that video, is that managers do things right and leaders do the right things. And I think you saw in the video right after that, it talked about the importance of having good leadership and good management. You have leaders that can decide what the right things are to do, and then managers can do those things right. So just a few discussion items here. We'll talk about these next time we come to class. I'd like you to think about some examples of leaders and managers that you could give from your personal experience, maybe teachers or parents, anybody you may know. And then, of course, movies, TV, books, history. There's plenty of examples of leaders and their characteristics. We'll talk about next time the difference between leadership management in your words instead of the words of a video or the chart. And would you rather have a leader or a manager in your organization? We just talked about a second ago about maybe the importance of both, but if you had to get by with just one, which one would you want? Could the same person be a leader and a manager? And do you disagree with any of the characterizations of leaders and managers given today? So please look through those items and think about them, and we'll talk about them next week when we get together. All right. Well, thank you for attending. Bye.